Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for clicking on today. We are continue on, of course, I gotta say praise the Lord for another beautiful day. Okay, always praise the Lord. And we are continue on Matthew chapter 12. This is part 2, and this is going to be from the verses 33 to 37. A tree known by its fruits. So, I'm not gonna say that much. I like this. There's a reason why I picked this. I like this. In Matthew 12:33, it starts out Jesus confront the Pharisees by using a tree as a metaphor for their speech and heart. He says, either make the tree good and its fruit good, or make the tree bad and its fruit bad. Now, for the tree is known by its fruit. He's calling them out because they were attempting to speak good things while their hearts were evil. Now, Jesus was speaking to this group of people. However, I think we could take something away from this. We can take something away from his instructions here. I love how he uses analogies here. The Bible talks a lot about our tongue. The words we say, it's a lot in the Bible about this. We can go into James, we can go in Psalms. I can't remember what chapter, but I know in Psalms, and it mentions this as well. It talks about those who boast with their tongues, and also in Ephesians, we see that God's grace is what saves us, so that we cannot boast about our own ability in action. So kind of like the Pharisees were trying to do in Matthew chapter 12. It is by his mercy that we can have a relationship with him. Because of this, our tree can be rooted in him, the ultimate source of life. He is the reason that we must not be conformed to this world, but instead transformed by the renewal of our minds. Like in Romans chapter 12. We take time out, read Romans chapter 12. It is so good. This is where the good fruit comes from. And also Jesus says in Matthew chapter 12 and verse 34 that out of the abundance of our heart, the mouth speaks. Our words are the outward reflection of our heart. Proverbs 18:21 says that death and life are in the power of the tongue. So what we say has an influence on people. I'm sure we all can attest to this in our personal lives. So I want to say that a tree is known by its fruit. And if we say evil things about people, if we say something about the condition of our heart, say something about the condition of our heart. Because what we say comes out. Therefore, the heart of people will be judged on the basics of what they do with words, whether they use them to heal or harm, to bless or to curse. Now you look at verse 36, 37. For by your words you will be justified, and by your words you will be condemned. And so I just want to say that Matthew 12:33 through 37 is a powerful teaching from Jesus to examine our heart, our actions, our words, the metaphor of the tree and its fruits, the idea that our character is revealed in our behavior, and it invites us to pursue genuine transformation and authenticity. So before I close out, excuse me, I just want to say before I close out that I want to encourage and prompt you with this. I have a few questions for you, and we are called to be the salt and light of the world. How do we do those things? By our words and our action. God has given us a calling to bring his light, his love, and his goodness to those around us. And I pray that our heart and our minds may continually be transformed to be more and more like Jesus. Because of this, we will bear good fruit so that others can see God's goodness. And a couple things I want to ask you guys. How is your fruit looking and tasting? What do others see coming from your life? What does Jesus see? What fruit have you produced that you want to create more of? That is so good. When I said that, that's good. What fruit you have? What fruit from your life would you call bad? Yeah. Uh, how can you alter production to produce more of the good fruit and less of the bad? How can you get rid of that bad? Those are questions you should ask yourself. And Jesus goes on to say, for by your words you will be acquitted, and by your words you will be condemned. Do we often forget the power and the consequences of our words? Will your words spoken last week acquit or condemn you? How can you better control your words you say? Before I close, I just want to say to everyone, our words are very powerful. If we say, I ain't trying to get emotional here. If we say something to someone last week, is that word kind? Will they still remember that kind word you said? Or is it something that's brutal, bitter? So what we say to people, it affects that person. So if I close out, I just want to say, be careful with our words. Let our words drop on people around us. Anywhere we go, let it be kind words. Let it be filled with love, joy, and peace and goodness. So later they can reflect on that word, because you know what? You can go back and say, I'm sorry, but you already landed that word. That it had landed and it affected that person. So let's, pause before we speak so we can think before we say something. So that's all I have right now. So when people see us, they see Jesus. They see Jesus. So let's be kind with our words. As always, God, I love you. I love you. Stay true to yourself. You be truly, truly blessed.